Finally, they're back together and it's everything. This episode could serve as an object lesson for kids to tell them that history is important, especially if you're searching for a long-lost lover. Jamie and Claire have found each other, and at first I thought they were going to make us go through an entire episode of just Jamie before they got to the good stuff. Thankfully, they brought Claire back into the episode pretty quickly. We see Jamie committing treason and doing the hard work of an actual printer. I bet he wouldn't complain when there was a glitch with the wireless printer. The only thing about Jamie that is older is the addition of reading glasses. Every man in America is going to be wishing they looked like this when they're over 40. It actually made me do some hard research to figure out if men over 40 could actually be this hot. The answer is yes. Ryan Philippe, Ryan Reynolds, Neil Patrick Harris, and let's not forget John Stamos, who is 54. So yeah, totally possible. Claire is clearly still drawn to him, not just because he is gorgeous, but because they are kindred spirits. And of course, there was lots of talk about their daughter Brianna and how she had grown. Of course, Jamie was incredibly curious, but thankfully Claire had thought to bring some pictures of her. He wasn't too thrilled when he saw her in a bikini. And then he had a secret of his own when he showed her his son. There is this awkward discussion about him taking off his pants in front of her, but she reminds him that they're still married. I mean, they never got a divorce. And Jamie still seems a little awkward, but he does it anyway. She moves through the town with him, meeting Jordy, his assistant, but the best reunion is with Fergus. He's like a son to them, and the reunion is just lovely. I hate this phrase, but it did actually give me all the feels. Claire also meets Mr. Willoughby, and he's been busy licking elbows for free. Those licks are supposed to cost a penny each, and so the whore is really whiny about it. But not to worry, Jamie has the cash and pays for those licks. It's kind of like Mr. Willoughby made a collect call, only for elbow licking. The madam of the brothel calls Jamie a customer, and Claire assumes the obvious, but she's totally wrong. Even when they get upstairs to his room, which is actually in the brothel. That's where he lives. It's kind of hard to believe he would live there and not act on it, but he swears he's not a customer, and eventually Claire believes him, even though she can hear everyone's business going on very loudly throughout the episode. What I loved most about this episode was that their reunion scene was almost just like their wedding night in season 1. They're sitting together, they're having dinner over a table in a little hotel room, well, brothel room, that part's different, but it looks about the same. And the conversation's kind of stilted and awkward because they really don't know each other, but they know where this is headed. She takes down her hair and it looks just like the first season, and then her undergarments look white like a wedding dress. And then Claire gives a whole speech with her boobs hanging out. Sorry, I just can't imagine ever doing that with the lights on. Then they decide they're actually going to go to the bed, and this is where I have my only real qualm. I know some of you are going to be annoyed when I say this, but listen, hear me out. I know they haven't slept together in a long time, but they've both been sexually active, and in none of the other scenes with their other partners were they this clumsy. Banging their heads together? Come on. If they were ever to be smooth with the people they didn't love but still slept with, they should be smooth with each other. And then there's just a lot of time in bed, which is fine. Even the imagery of them in the bedroom scene looks virtually identical. It's just a replica 20 years later. The episode ends with Claire milling around the brothel, hanging out with the whores. And then she meets Ian and explains to him that, well, she's his aunt, not a hooker in the brothel. The episode ends with a cliffhanger of Claire about to be attacked. Hopefully, it's like the other cliffhangers where she's been on the verge of attack where she is saved.